Hello, everybody. Uh, Thanks for tuning in, and I decided it was time to do another video and catch everybody up. I know I had a lot of requests from people to be able to do one that wanted me to do one, and they wanted to see where I was and see what progress had been made. And apparently, a lot of people that liked my videos, and it helped not only them come out, but it also helped them, start to take a look and see, how they should change their life. And I guess there was some really good positive aspects on it. I look back and I'm petrified by the figure I saw in that video and just how big and, you know, just where I was at the time. And now I look and there's a lot changing, especially over the last year, since last April. I, uh, I started to exercise every day. Um, at least between April and the end of November, I was walking, uh, or middle of November, I should say, I was walking every day, 3.5 to 5 miles a day. I've been on a 1,300 calorie a day diet or less, and so my weight was dropping dramatically. Um, I had actually lost overall. Last year I lost 170 pounds in just over uh, just over 9 months. Um, and my weight is again falling. I had a period in December where some issues with my mom's health had gotten really, really bad, and I had picked up eating a little more than I should have, so I gained some weight back, but I've lost all of it already, and I'm back on track. And this year, I hope that I will lose another 170 pounds at least, and I'll be at my target goal. And that means that I would have lost or just close to, or just over 400 pounds from where I was when I originally made my first video. To say that the last year has been easy, it hasn't. It wasn't, you know, it was a year of self recognition, in a way, being able to realize that I just couldn't take things anymore. My gender dysphoria, however you want to pronounce it, was just so extreme. It's been so bad. It was so bad for so long, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I was really petrified because I love life. I love being out, but I couldn't take being stuck in the body of a guy while having different thoughts and feeling completely different on the inside. And some of my actions, you know, sometimes the way I walk or the way I behave or certain things, you would instantly say, wait a minute, that usually a girl does that. Guys aren't supposed to do that. I do it, and it's natural, and I don't even realize I'm doing it. It's been a year of self, um, I guess it's like an exploration of myself. Come to I had to come to accepting myself for who I was, as a trans person, knowing that I'm transgender. I had to be able to accept that that was the case. I had to stop worrying about what my family thought. I had to stop caring what my friends thought. I had to stop, you know, worrying about what others were going to do, and I had to worry about me, and I had to worry about that. Hey, look, do I want to live life stuck in the way I am, and not being able to do anything the rest of my life, and just being depressed and living this life that I know is not mine, or do I want to do something about it, and do I want to move forward and, be the girl that I truly am, and that I know I am inside. So that's what I started to do. I started to call a counselor, a psychotherapist back in last May. Uh, and right when that started, I realized that I started feeling this sense of layers being peeled off. And now imagine a skyscraper, a tall skyscraper, and imagine, like, on the Science Channel, how they deconstruct layer after layer after layer being removed as I moved forward. I've had 25 appointments with my psychotherapist since last year. And recently I got my letter for HRT, and I'm going to see the endocrinologist on April 1st to hopefully start HRT either shortly after or hopefully that day. The sooner the better. I wish I could have gotten an appointment quicker, but this area is really busy and there's not much I could do. Plus, finding a doctor that is willing to do HRT is complicated. But I'm excited. I mean, to say I'm, you know, I've just been so. I felt like such a huge layer of burden and guilt and all kinds of stuff was just lifted off me as soon as I made that call to the endocrinologist. And you know, I felt like a completely different person. I've been doing nothing but research, since 1996, going back since the internet started about, what's HRT do to the body, what the effects, how does it affect the mind. I've been trying to, I'm doing that stuff lately, trying to, get an idea of which hormones are right for me, which way I should go. You know, anything from that to, uh, there's some things like, appropriate dressing, sitting appropriately as a woman, you know, stupid things that don't even matter right now that eventually will. It's because um, my gender dysphoria, it just explodes. It's so hard and so unbelievably difficult to concentrate, to focus, to be able to stay and do do something. And unfortunately, I have to try and maintain, being myself, and because I have to take care of my mother. My mother's disabled. Uh, in the last year, her health has declined substantially. While mine's been improving, hers is declining. I've felt like I've spent more time in the hospital over the last year than I have at home with her, because she's just had so many ongoing issues. And I almost lost her on Christmas, and that really was a difficult time. And now her being home, um, it's 24/7 care, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You know, I have to do everything for her, and she depends on me, and I don't have the choice because there's nowhere else for her to go. And unfortunately, my family is a bunch of bleeping idiots, and they, I don't know whatever happened to the family supports family stuff. Family sticks with family. No one shows up. No one helps. And so I do what I can. Um, some other things that, I realized, and that it was just a matter of doing is that, I'm trying to figure out how to put this. I, you know, it's like an awakening. You just, you start, you know, shedding away that hard shell you've had, and you can start doing the things that you've always wanted to, that you've always been afraid to do. For example, going into the store and going to the makeup section, going to the women's section. I right now I go in, not a problem. I can look at makeup. I can look at and shop for what I feel like I need to. And if a woman or someone looks at me questioningly or they give me a hard time, I'm gonna push back. I'm not gonna take that crap. Even a few months ago, I couldn't do that. I'd get nervous, sick in my stomach. I'd have to flee because I was so scared of what would someone think. Now, I'm not going to worry anymore about what someone thinks. I have to, I'm going to be going through a really big transition, and where I live, that's going to hit shockwaves. and of course my camera goes out. Sorry about that. I have to click this thing every so often. But anyway, it's going to send shockwaves through my neighborhood. I mean, I've been here a long time. I've been here where I live now for 11 years, and you know, eventually I'm going to move here soon, at some point. But for now, I'm here, and we're not going anywhere. And so as I transition, people are going to see it. And I always keep wondering, well, what are they going to think? Oh, wait a minute. I've even had, images and dreams, because I have a very, visual memory, and my dreams are always so vivid. I even dreamt of, one day I'm doing exercise and I walk around and I'm like, someone pointing me out and saying, hey, you see that girl over there? You believe she used to be the 600-pound guy that lived down the street? And I know that's pretty funny, maybe not, but that's what you know, that's what I've been going. That's what I've been going through my head, trying to get to that point of, I have to diet. I have to get my weight down. I've realized over this past year that I was an emotional eater. That was really hard. It's like, being. I would compare it to being, an alcoholic, being a drug addict. Maybe not the same, but similar. That when I was depressed and I growing up, I had a lot of depression. I had a lot of sadness. When I tried to come out at 13, and I wrote a 12-page letter to my mother, and I tried to come out, and she didn't accept me. And then apparently she went to my grandmother, and it flew from there. And then I ended up in a psych ward, and the torture and inhumane and horrible things that those people did to me. And trust me, it's not like therapists today. It's not like certain, understanding the way we live in the 2015 era. This was some real torture. People, sitting in the middle of a group session and being called out. Well, hey, well, can you explain why you like to wear women's clothes? And you imagine you're with 15 other kids your age, teenagers, and the counselor in a group session says this to you. You just imagine what will happen. Imagine the laughter, the looks, the name calling, everything. It happened. And then I hated my mom for a long time after that. I hated everything. I didn't say anything about it. I went on with life as normal, but secretly inside I was very hurt. I had a lot of anger. The last few years I've let that go, and I've actually been able to forgive mom, and I see her now. And I came out to her, right after I made my first video, on my birthday, and she's been accepting, maybe not fully understanding of what's going to happen, maybe not fully, grasping at it, but she's getting better, and she understands now. I mean, we've had some pretty detailed discussions, and I told her she wanted to know everything that's going to happen. She wanted to know when, or at least the timeline, or what's going to happen. And I tried to tell her, I tried to give her, hey, look, I need to make you aware that, as I come out and people find out I'm transgender, it's possible that some of your friends may not be as accepting, and they may ridicule you because of me. And she was just like, well, look, what friends do I have that come visit me or do anything for me? So it's okay. And it's the same with our neighbors. I'm not going to worry about what my neighbors think. I'm going to be me, and I'm going to live this life, because I can see, when I started HRT, I've known since that time, way back when I was in my teens, when I was a kid, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, I knew that if I didn't transition, that I wouldn't be able to make it anywhere in society, that things just wouldn't go my way, that I would always be somewhat limited in what I'd be able to do, because I felt like this gigantic fog was sitting on my brain, and it just, especially right here, and I just could not get it off to the point where I could then fully focus and do everything and live my life as a person. The same thing as going with the typical, there's a lot of trans people that they want to try and push um, that out of them. Some of them got married, some of them had girlfriends. I've never had a girlfriend. I've never had any of that because I couldn't do it. And I wasn't into girls. And I admit that. I have no problem now admitting it. I mean, it's in some ways shocking for even myself to hear me saying that, hey, look, I was never really into girls, but I wasn't. Sure, I looked at girls all the time, and I played the part, but I wasn't into girls. Mostly, when I was looking at girls, the thing I was envying the most was them. I wanted, I was like, saying, taking in, their face, their eyebrows, how they were doing their makeup, their dress, the way they acted, the way they talked. I was trying to get, everything about them that I could just, you know, simply say, okay, do I recognize anything that they're doing that I do too? And so that's really what's been up. I've been coming to a realization that going back to my grandmother, when that time when I came out and I gave that letter to my mom and all of this happened, my grandmother had called that one Friday. And this is like 1990, mind you, and she basically told me over the phone what an embarrassment I was to the family and that I was ruining their lives and that I should just drown myself in the bathtub. Now imagine your grandmother, one you've been close to for a long time, telling you should drown yourself in the bathtub. Yeah, it was not pleasant. And looking back over the last several months, just a lot of time sitting in the hospital, I came to a big realization that all this time I've been saying, oh, I didn't want to lose my friends, I didn't want to lose my family, I didn't want this, so I hid and I stayed shut. And it dawned on me. Right after I came out, I did that letter. That's when I started losing that's when I lost all of my family. My family, right then, my grandmother, my mom's mom, must have, because that's what they did back then, that family. She went to her sisters and her other family, and it just must have spread like wildfire behind my back, and everybody knew or was told that I had said I was transgendered, or that of course I was gay, or I was this, or I was that, all the stupid monstrosities that rumors and everything get out. And that's when I realized family wasn't going to coming around. That's when family wasn't calling. That's when Christmas presents stopped. That's when everything stopped. So I could have really, if I had had the guts and I wanted to go through with it, and I could have got, accepted myself, I could have transitioned 10, 15, 20 years ago. And I regret that every day that I haven't read it. But I have to keep moving forward. That's why, I'm 37 now, about to hit 38. I need to start my transition now before it gets, it goes any further. And I can tell you, just based on how I know and how I feel, and all of that, and the way certain parts of my body are now, I know there's, there's some type of estrogen or some type of andrologist or something, not on the face, of course, but when you don't grow hair on your legs and your legs are as like smooth as baby silk and you're not doing anything to it, your arms have no hair and they're smooth as silk. They look, they look no different than a woman's or another girl's. Then there's something up. Um, there's there's other ways to tell as well. I'm not going to go distinctly into it, but that. And since I know I'm getting up towards 20 minutes of this video, and I appreciate everyone watching, there's so much more I want to go into, so much more I want to tell you, and so much more I want to share. And that's why I'm going to continue to start making these videos more and more, especially as I transition. I want to do these videos, something like, there were so many people that I did over the years that I watched transition that have helped me and helped me even get to the points where I was and be able to acknowledge what I did, It's a lot of, I can't even begin to name names because there's just so many. And now that I'm at that point, I'm just so excited. And I may have mentioned earlier, but with that excitement, dysphoria just doesn't stop. It's like over the top bubbling. And there goes the video again. It's over the top bubbling. It's like a dam overflowing, and I can't. I've got to be able to start transitioning. And I know, a lot of times people say, "Oh, wait, you're going to gain weight. You're going to have this. You're going to have that." I've read people that gain weight. I've read people that lost weight. I've read people that have stayed the same. I've you know I've read about all kinds of things. I've done so much research and read so many of the same pages over and over again since 1996, and now especially over the last year or two, over the last year or two, that I'm prepared. I'm ready. I know what I need to do. I'm not saying I know everything, but I know where I want to be. And I know one big thing, like I said, I can accept myself. Now, um, one website, a couple places said that you had to really be able to accept yourself, and that was one of the most difficult things, and it is. Um, I'm going to, like I said, start making more of these videos. I'm going to like my vitamins because I take, there's several vitamins I take every day. Uh, B12 being one of them, and I found that it really helped my metabolism. And I've been burning more calories since I've been taking that. I'll go into some of my skincare products, some of the things I'm doing. I get a lot of compliments about my hair now. I've grown my hair down. It's below my shoulders. It's growing, and it'll continue to grow. Um, I learned that it was one of those things you should do before you transition. It was always a good thing, and I've done that. Um, I want to say that I think the future is going to be wonderful. I think there's really great things. My life's turning a cornerstone, and it's going to be a cornerstone where my life is going to go, you know, leaps and bounds where I've ever been. And transitioning is the most exciting thing in the world. I can't believe I'm actually almost to that point. And really, as it sunsets, one thing that I'll close in on is this week we had snow. First time we've had snow in this area where I live, in Virginia. I live in Virginia, and we hit 10.5 inches of snow. And it's it was really piled up. And because I want the exercise, because I want to, get my weight down, and because I want to get active again. Since it's been cold, my legs have been bothering me. I had some issues being able to walk. I can't walk in the cold. When it gets below 50, I can't do it. It was bothering me. However, I wanted to push myself. I had to do something. I've got to get going, and I wanted to keep going. So I not only shoveled my car out because I have to do the car in case mom has an emergency, in case I have to take her to a doctor, in case rescue has to come at the shade. Our maintenance people do nothing here. They do a simple small pass with a snowblower, and they do no shoveling or anything whatsoever. So I shoveled all the sidewalks in front of our building. I shoveled my car out wide. I then shoveled a woman next to me that lives on the third floor that had just moved in. I shoveled actually 6 or 7 of my neighbors completely out. They get to their cars, a simple pass. They get their car to their cars, and they can go out. Some of them that didn't think they'd be able to get out for days. I did it. Why? I wasn't expecting anything. I wasn't expecting money. I wasn't expecting this or that. I wanted to do it for me. And also, in a way, I was paying a couple of those people back because when I was having difficulty over the last year where I couldn't afford to get mom's medicine or to get her food or to get something else because things were just so bad and I was going to food charities 3 weeks out of the month, then it was, it was something like they always said, pay it forward. So when I did this, I came in, I took pictures, came out, went back out, took pictures, put up, pay it forward, and uh, it felt really good. Now, given I hurt like heck over the last couple of days because of it, but it was really awesome. And the one thing I kind of wonder, and that's why I said I'm going to close in on that on my video, is I did that out of kindness. I don't care, you know, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're female to male. I don't care if you're male to female. I don't care if you're straight, bisexual, lesbian, any of that. I don't care your race. I don't care your gender. I don't care your political party. I don't care, about a lot of this silly, stupid shit. Shit, it's crap, whatever you want to call it, that people like to seem to bicker over all the time. Uh, I see you as a person. I see me as a person. We're all persons, and we all can work together. We're all equal. And I think that neighbors helping neighbors is a good thing. And I just wondered that when I start to take my HRT, I know what's going to happen. I know that as my weight goes down, I know that as I'm on that estrogen, I know that my strength is going to, collapse pretty weakly. It's going to shrink. I'm not going to have the strength to be able to lift like I was. And I wonder if my neighbors will remember that, what I did for them, and they will then repay the favor, or if it's going to be the typical, you know, every one person for themselves type of thing. I kind of, I don't know where it's going to lead. I really hope that someone will remember, but we will see. Um, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I thank you for watching. I hope you'll watch again. As you can see, comparatively how I was before, I'm a lot smaller. I'm still rather big. I've still got a ways to go, but I've worked on my voice. My voice isn't overly masculine anyway. My voice wasn't overly feminine, kind of in the middle. I don't have much of an Adam's apple. I, besides the hair on my face, I let this grow just because, I've seen some, trans people do that before they transition, and I thought it was a good something just to get while I could, and then, we'll see where it goes from as I shave it off and as I start to take HRT. So that's about it. And everyone take care, and I hope I can do another video here shortly. And I'll share whatever I can, my views, my expressions, all of that. Regardless of what I say, it doesn't. Remember, I respect everybody. I'm here for everybody. And good luck, and thanks again.